heart of Washington, D.C., the National Portrait Gallery embarks on a unique mission unlike any other art museum. It's where the faces of those who've shaped the nation tell this American story one portrait at a time. One thing that I was in awe of immediately was the architecture of this building. In 2006, the National Portrait Gallery and the Smithsonian American Art Museum reopened after a significant renovation that lasted like 6 years. And it cost over $250 million. So I can see why the architecture looks good. And had a great time for the short time that I was there. And I hate to draw this part of the story to a close, but I got there pretty late, so they were pretty much over. So initially I wanted to come here for the day of service, but it didn't happen. So I thought, why not actually check out the gallery? So the National Portrait Gallery holds a unique mission of portraying individuals that have made a significant contribution to history, development, and the culture of the people of the United States. It's hard for me to act like there's not a weight to it. Seeing so many faces. Many faces. So of course, I went to the first machine I could find. And it was Thomas Edison's tin-foil phonograph. I guess in ways, this is the first DJ set? I don't know, it could play back sounds. It was the first thing that ever could do that, so. Was Edison the first DJ? And then there's Mr. Standard Oil himself, J.D. Rockefeller. Standard Oil at a point in time owned 90% of the refineries and pipelines at its peak. He was a boss. And knowing me, I just couldn't stay away from the gadgets. Here's the telegraph. So, I guess this is like the first phone, right? You could send messages with Morse code, and apparently had a pretty big impact on society and culture. It's always interesting to see how religion is depicted. I also think it's important to understand how religion affected this country and how we view ourselves and view each other. So many faces that I had to consider who I considered to be a forefather. There seemed to just be a lot of different energy, from the calm waters to the smoky embers of gunpowder. call ourselves a mixing pot, and I had to meditate on that abstraction for a moment and remember that this came through many means, not excluding conquest. And there is a certain strength in that. There's a certain reverence, but also a sense of pride or domination. I think what we call America has transcended this continent and gone global. As I walked through the gallery, it was quiet, but it was also loud, with echoes of Dr. King's dream and a reminder of what legacy really is. It's not just the deeds we do, but it's also about the stories we cherish and the ones we share. Some would say it's not about your positive contribution to the story. It's about making sure you're a part of it. And not to blur the lines or distort its fact or fiction, but a lot of this seems to be very much connected. And that's important to acknowledge. And I walked through viewing the portraits of our former presidents, and it seems like there's a storyline here, one that society tells us and the story that we tell ourselves. And I wouldn't say walking through this valley of giants made me feel small, but it reminded me to find my own path and make sure that at the end of my life I can speak for myself and speak towards the journey I've been on and what I've done, the storyline, what I've laid as a path for other people to follow. As I made my way out to exit the museum, the gallery's lessons lingered with me, and every stroke of a painter's brush just captured a particular gaze of the individual. It just lies a call to action, a reminder that while we come to honor these giants in this gallery, we must not forget the path that they forged is walked one step at a time by individuals like you and me. So the day I missed became the day I discovered a new way to serve, by remembering, by learning, and by telling the stories that inspire generations to come.